Hi, meteorologist Tony Petrarca in the Pinpoint 12 Forecast Center. We have a little bit of everything on the way. Storm system for the second half of Tuesday afternoon and evening. It's not just snow, some sleet, some freezing rain, and even some rain, but regardless, certainly high impact in terms of travel for the mid to late afternoon of Tuesday and the evening commute. Let me show you the timing on this. And actually tonight through Tuesday morning is actually dry. Tuesday morning commute looks fine. The snow beginning around an hour on either side of noon, so around noon, 1 o'clock. Now, accumulations of snow likely initially, as the air will be cold enough to support snow. Once we get towards the Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, the snow will start to transition over to some sleet, which are those ice pellets. So slick travel is likely from mid to late afternoon Tuesday through Tuesday night. Then eventually later Tuesday night, the sleet will go over to rain. However, the sleet may linger a while longer across the northwest part of the state. And then everything ending and winding down by early on Wednesday morning. So our threat tracker now through Tuesday morning, low level green. Will certainly bump it up to yellow on Tuesday as the snow starts around noon. Snow to sleet to freezing rain and eventually rain. And certainly some high travel impacts, especially for the evening commute. So a dry night, but storm on Tuesday. If there's any good news, it's that once the storm pulls away by daybreak Wednesday, we're not looking at this outbreak of real cold air where everything freezes up solid. In fact, if anything, temperatures will be running cool to mild for the middle and the end of the week, so no real outbreaks of bitterly cold air. So a little bit of good news, and otherwise some messy weather on the way for Tuesday. So here's the satellite and radar. This is as of 7:30 this evening. Under partly cloudy skies, we'll widen out the view, and the precipitation that we're watching is stretched out across the Midwest. And this is advancing to the east and northeast, arriving here around noontime on Tuesday. Now, initially, the air is cold enough to support some snow, but then we'll get that transition over to some sleet. Let me walk you through it hour by hour. Let's forecast starting off this evening at 7 o'clock. And again, there's really no problems at all. We're just kind of seasonably chilly and dry. Clouds on the increase overnight. We advance the map to tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Actually starting off dry and cold. Temperatures in the upper teens to lower 20s. So the atmosphere initially is cold enough to support some frozen precipitation. I take you into noontime. Now watch in eastern Connecticut. You start to see the leading edge of the snow getting closer to the Connecticut-Rhode Island border. So sometime between noon and, here we go, 2 o'clock, the blue represents snow. That starts to overspread the area. And temperatures are still below freezing, so it wouldn't take long for the roads to start get coated. I would imagine roads, at least the untreated ones, are getting snow covered by 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Take you into the evening commute, 5 o'clock. Really got this bad timing. Now this darker blue, this represents some briefly heavy snow. So for about a 2-3 hour period, it will come down at a pretty good clip. And then you start to see some of this pink working in. And that is the transition over to some sleet. So this is ice pellets starting to work in. Far northern part of the state, maybe still lingering on to a little bit of snow. And notice temperature is really not too far from freezing. So there are travel issues even as late as 11 o'clock Tuesday night. And then some of this green that you see offshore, some milder rain will tend to work in later Tuesday night. And then all of this will be winding down by early Wednesday morning. All right, snowfall accumulations. Always the tough part, especially when you're dealing with a variety of precipitation types. But this is the outlook of the amount of snow we're expecting before the change to sleet, rain, and freezing rain. So I would say areas in this lighter purple, lighter blue, south of Providence, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of snow, and then north and west of Providence, this darker blue, on the order of 3 to 4. And quite simply, the slower it takes for the snow to change to sleet, the snowfall amounts would end up being higher. If that sleet changeover is a little quicker, then these snowfall amounts would be a little lower. But regardless of these specific numbers, the weather system as a whole is certainly high impact in terms of travel for later Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night. For this evening, no problems, just kind of cold and dry. Now here we are tomorrow morning, starting off dry, mostly cloudy, cold, starting off at 19 degrees. And then during the afternoon, especially from once we get beyond 2 o'clock, it's starting to come down steady, and the roads are starting to get slick with temperatures in the upper 20s and poor weather for the travel weather for the evening commute. Also, as of 7:30 this evening, on our website, WPRI.com, we're starting to see more and more school early dismissals. What comes to mind? West Warwick, Warwick, Cranston, to name a few, and the list keeps growing. So you want to check back on our website, WPRI.com, this evening and overnight, even into early tomorrow morning, to see if any additional schools would have any early dismissals. Some dismissals are as early as a couple of hours. So travel impacts, again, looking at a fairly low impact on Tuesday morning. We'll bump it up a little bit by 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon, and then really ramping it up come mid to late afternoon to the early evening of Tuesday. High travel impacts with just sleet, wet snow, freezing rain, and then some improvements once we get towards daybreak on Wednesday. So certainly a high impact storm doesn't necessarily mean that we're getting an extreme amount of snow, but our totals are going to range anywhere from 1 to 4 inches, the higher amounts being in the northern part of the state, the lower amounts closer to the coastline. But that's just enough snow along with sleet and freezing rain to really make travel difficult by mid to late afternoon and into early Tuesday evening. So that's the latest. Certainly check back with me tonight at 10 o'clock and again at 11 o'clock on Eyewitness News for updates to see if we have to tweak any timing or tweak some of these numbers as far as the snowfall amounts. And meteorologist Michelle Muscatello in tomorrow morning at 4:30 a.m. with your updated forecast. And keep it here. What you click to is what we call the Weather Now link on our homepage, and we're constantly doing video updates, not just during storms, but really every day of the week, 7 days a week, these little intermediate video updates in between our newscasts, so kind of keep you informed 24/7. So that's the latest. And again, if you're traveling late tomorrow afternoon into early tomorrow evening, certainly be careful.